Welcome to this special report on Thornton Academy TV. I'm Ian Maksut. This week we bring you a story of a traumatic event that changed the life of one local resident. John Conieris from Dayton, Maine, once a distance runner who previously ran in the Captain Scott 5K road race in Old Orchard Beach, received shocking news that he had cardiomyopathy, which enlarged and weakened his heart. So how did you find out that you needed a heart transplant?
Just from a routine yearly physical from my primary doctor, and everything was looking good until I told him my dad had just passed away, so he did an EKG, and that's where they found the problem.
So this must have come as a complete shock for a healthy person.
Yes, yeah. I mean, heart disease in my family was pretty rampant. So, but yeah, it was a shock when it first came along.
And how did this affect your family?
It was such a slow process.
For the first
it was hard to sink in.
Years,
yeah.
Not much changed, but then after that he declined. Probably in the last 2 years, he declined fast.
And could you describe some of that declining?
Just fatigue. I would fatigue very easily. Normal activities, just working around the house or shopping. Yeah, everything. I would get winded and just fatigue really quickly.
And after you were informed of this, what was the next step?
Immediately they stopped me from running or doing any lifting or any of my normal activities that I was doing. And then just a barrage of tests, EKGs and echoes and nuclear dye tests, and you name it, I had them done. And it was probably a good half a year of just testing. I couldn't believe it at first. Not that I couldn't believe it that I was so shocked at it. I didn't feel anything. I felt perfectly fine. Actually, after a few months, they let me run again. So I was right back to doing my normal stuff.
Yeah. He thought the doctors were crazy.
Yeah, because I wasn't feeling anything that they said that I should be feeling. And I mean, I'd go to the doctor's office to run on the treadmill for an echo or something. And
did they say that
it felt great? You know?
Did they say that was normal?
No, they said that was
shocking.
Really different. Yeah, most people when they. But I was young. I was only 45 then, I think, when I was diagnosed. But they said most people it comes on quick. You know?
A normal person who doesn't, he ran 7 days a week.
Yeah.
So they would show it faster than he did. But he did eventually start showing signs.
And
you said that the doctors said not to run, right?
Initially, yeah, but that was just for a couple of weeks. They encouraged it afterwards, so they do everything you can, you know, without.
So during the period that you couldn't run, what were you feeling?
Oh, that was tough mentally.
You couldn't do the thing.
Yeah,
that you loved.
I felt like an 80-year-old man, and being 90, 80's not that old anymore. So, but I felt like an old man, you know. And, yeah, I couldn't do the things I wanted to do. It was frustrating.
And after the testing, what would be the next step that you took?
I had that implantable defibrillator put in, and that went for a year or so. Then they finally put me on a correct me if I'm right, the transplant list was about 4 years into it. They just monitored me. I just went to the hospital. They just monitored me every time I go in. I'd come out and they'd say you're stable, and stable was good. You know, it wasn't going down, wasn't going up, just stay in the course. And then it took a turn, probably 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
And that turn was the need for a new heart.
Yes. Actually, after the defibrillator was in, they put in a device called an IED, which is not an IED, a VAD, left ventricular assist device, and it's a pump they implant right inside of you, and then you have to be hooked up to batteries, and it constantly keeps your heart pumping. It's like a little fish tank motor that just keeps your heart pumping and pumping. I had that I was in the hospital with that for
4 months.
4 or 5 months, yeah. So that was the next step after the defibrillator, while I was waiting on the list, on the transplant list.
They called it a bridge to transplant. It would try to help him regain some strength so that he would be healthier going into the transplant. But it didn't really work, only because his heart was further gone than they had expected. Yeah.
So at that period of time when you were on the waiting list, what did did that feel like, and to your family as well?
I know it was a very odd feeling knowing that someone was walking the earth at that exact same time that wasn't going to be today.
Someone had to die.
Yeah, and I
That was
talked to a lot of
tough.
people about that.
Yeah.
People at the hospital and the preacher up there and a lot of people up there, and they said don't feel that way. You know, there's nothing you can do about it, and it's a gift. So you just have to accept it that way.
And what toll did this whole event take on you and your family?
Emotionally, it was tough on him because like he said, he was in the hospital for between 4 to 5 months. Every possible negative that could come from the bad did.
Yeah.
Where he had the GI bleeds, he had mini strokes, just everything. Everything went wrong. But it did put him higher on the list, where he became more of a priority. Running back and forth to Boston, that was a little
That was
bit
tough on
difficult.
you and the kids?
Not tough, I never did that before. The kids were living here, they had to kind of take over everything, which they did.
And we say kids, if it had to happen, this was a good time because they're adult children and young adults, and we didn't have to worry about daycare or school or anything. We just left the house, didn't even put any food in the fridge. See you guys, and we'll be back in whenever. So that way, with them older, it helped. You know, they were able to cope with it a lot easier.
And the Brigham provides a sleeping area for me. The rooms are very spacious, and it's a couch that folds out into a bed.
Beautiful hospital.
And I could stay there as long as I needed, as long as I had to. So that
Yeah, she stayed down there a lot with me, so a whole lot. So.
And could you describe the physical toll it also took?
For me, it was to get up from this chair to go to that chair over in the kitchen would have been difficult. I just sat around a lot. I got a lot of reading done.
Going up the stairs, he'd have to stop once or twice.
Yeah, I would do the stairs once a day. Come down in the morning, and then I wouldn't do them if I didn't have to. So.
And you touched on the Boston hospital as well. Could you explain a little bit about that?
Well, we were in the Shapiro Center. It's a whole
Brand
building
new place, yeah, beautiful.
just dedicated to heart patients. The staff is amazing.
I was just going to say that.
When they found out
we're still
that
friends with a lot of the people there.
They found out that he was going to be long-term. They were going to take my laundry home and do it for me.
They'll do anything for you.
Yeah,
the
so
nurses
I
were
would have
great.
to come home early.
Yeah.
He would have a problem when they put the VAD in that his heart would react to it, and he would go into arrhythmia a lot. So they put together a rapid response team where his room, just a matter of seconds, would fill up with 50, 60 nurses and doctors.
The whole crew, yeah.
Because they each had a specific thing they had to do. The propofol, nurse would bring the propofol, magic drug up, and then the doctor would administer it. The IP.
That happened several times. That happened.
IP doctor would come up to shut off his defibrillator so he wouldn't get a shock, because I think that went off probably a dozen times.
More, yeah.
When he was in there. So that's why they did the rapid response. So we wouldn't have to suffer. It's very painful.
But the staff was great down there.
They took care of you.
Oh yeah, we're going down next Thursday, a week from today, for my monthly visit down there, and we'll go and visit them. You know, the nurses and everybody up on the floor. They were great.
So you both have built great relationships
Yes.
with people.
Yes, we have. Yes. No one knows exactly how much the nurses do. They do more than the doctors do, I think. Because they come in, they literally hold your hand, they take care of you, they do everything. They taught me a lot.
Yeah.
How to take care of him when they were a little bit busy. But sometimes they just come in and sit for a couple hours and just talk after they got off their shift. So it was nice.
So when you were told that a heart was available for you, what was that period like? What were your emotions?
We knew it was going to be soon. I think it was going to be fairly soon. I got the call this past October.
Yeah.
I figured by the first of the year, just from the read I was getting off the staff down there. But of course, there's no way to predict when you're going to get one. We were home one night, and
You went to bed early.
Yeah, it was.
You're up.
The phone rang like 9:30.
No, it was early.
Well, it was, the caller ID had a Boston area code. I said, "No, this is it," you know. And
I didn't know who it was.
They called us and come on down.
I was on my computer with a glass of wine, my feet up, and the phone rang, and the woman asked for John, and I said, "I'm sorry, he's sleeping. Can I take a message?" And she said, "No, this is Lynn Stevenson. Get him now." I don't think I touched a stair running up there to tell him.
Yeah.
So pure joy and excitement for getting this call.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, it was wonderful. And then they suggested that neither one of us drive down, so we called our son and his fiancée, and they brought us down.
So what were you thinking in your family during this period?
We were told in the beginning that he could get called several times.
That's correct. Yeah.
And he would not be a match.
Sometimes you're a backup.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's...
We had no idea that this heart was for him because it was time. He really needed a heart. I thought he was going to get down there. They would take him down to the operating room and then tell him, no, not this time. Yep. But I think he went down about 4 o'clock in the morning, and by 9:30 or 10 o'clock they said that he was in surgery and he was almost out. And then
it couldn't have gone more perfect, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then all the kids came up to visit, and it was amazing because his VAD surgery, he stayed in the hospital 4 to 5 months, and with this surgery he was out in 10 days. It was amazing.
And a good recovery.
Yes.
Worked out.
Everything was perfect, yeah.
I met a lot of people down there that had transplant or on a list, like Beth said, and they'd get several calls, you know, and they'd wait in the OR for 8 hours, and it just didn't work out for whatever reason medically.
Well, everything
I was fortunate. I got that one call, and that was the call. So.
And everything has to be perfect. It has to be the same blood type, same size of the chest cavity, that'll fit in there. What were some of the other things? If he had a slight fever of any kind, he couldn't do it. Even the sniffles, they wouldn't be able to do it. But everything was just perfect.
So those 10 days in the hospital, they went by pretty quick.
For me, they did. I was unconscious a lot of the time. Yeah, they did. The first stretch I had in there was over 100 days, and that really gets to you after a while. But this, I knew it was going to go home. I was feeling good. Every day was feeling stronger. They get you up walking right away. So I think I was walking in 2 days. So.
And could you describe a bit of the physical therapy process? Mostly walking, balance. I had a hard time with my balance for a long time. Some stairs, just a lot of floor exercise, they would call it. You just walk up and down the hallways, and they just have you do little exercise because you're down for so long that your muscles don't react the way they should. So they just build you up slowly. It wasn't anything really, really strenuous, but it was a workout sometimes, that's for sure. Yeah. So how long did you stay in physical therapy?
Probably almost the whole time I was there, between the 2 stretches. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And you had your family by your side, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Always, yeah. If Beth wasn't there, the kids were there. If the kids weren't there, my sister would drive up from New Jersey. She came once, and I had a whole lot of support that way.
And seeing him get better, could you explain a little bit about your feelings and emotions towards that?
It's all a blur. You know, someone told me that we must have been on autopilot for last year, and we were. We really were. We just did whatever we had to do, and I have to admit that at times I was waiting for the other shoe to drop, because like I said, when he had the VAD, everything went wrong. Everything possible went wrong. Yeah. And then to have him just get better all of a sudden, it was mind-boggling.
It's a big event in both of your lives and your whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. But
absolutely.
He couldn't do anything before. I mean,
I didn't do anything. I was couch bound. I started, I repainted the whole bathroom and taped it up, did a good job.
Yeah.
Before all this, I couldn't, like I said, I read a lot of books. There was nothing I didn't want to watch TV, so I
napped a lot.
Napped a lot.
Couple, 3 naps a day maybe. He'd go to bed by 5 o'clock in the afternoon. He's getting his runner's legs back now, so.
Which is great.
They were little toothpicks there for a while.
So when do you think that you might be able to get back into running?
I'm on the treadmill just about not every day, but 5 days a week, easy. Last week I did 21 miles on the treadmill. This week, the warm weather, I'm gonna get outside and do some running. And the last race I ran, it was a week before I was diagnosed, was the Scott Cash down in Old Orchard Beach, a 5K, and that's coming up again in June. So that's my goal is to.
It's your goal to get back.
I don't care about times, just getting it done. So, what did I read the other day? It doesn't matter if it's a 12-minute mile or a 5-minute mile. It's a mile. So I just want to get out there and do that. Yeah.
Do you have friends who also run in these?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, how do they feel about your recovery?
A few of them that I've talked to just about flipped. They were really excited. That's for sure.
Well,
Every day you're getting somebody, you can get a pat in the back.
Oh, after I brought him home, he got hugs and cries. Everybody cried. It was good.
And is there anything else either of you would like to add?
How important it is to fill out that little thing on
Yeah,
your license
be an organ
for
donor.
donating.
Yep.
Organ donation is
I didn't,
amazing.
years ago I didn't believe in it, and I don't know why, because it's just selfish not to. I mean, I'm here talking to you now because somebody gave me this gift.
John continues recovering at home, exercising daily. Although he has to live with daily challenges for the rest of his life, he hopes to participate in another distance race in the near future. For Thornton Academy TV, I'm Ian Maksut.